the metric on TikTok? Is it followers?
I honestly think that the whole TikTok followers and likes and all that, I think it's mostly fake. We talked about this before.
Yeah.
And I also think that YouTube is copying that strategy. I think the views that we're getting on our shorts are fake. Meta allowed scheduling of reels through the Creator Studio. We made a video about this. I don't know if you guys were there. I think it was me and Andrew. And I noticed there were some comments on there. One person left a comment that said, if you came here for instructions on how to schedule reels, this is not it. Because we did not actually show. So I actually want to show. You guys are familiar with Garyvee's $1.80 strategy?
No.
You guys ever heard of that? Never heard of it. He put up this thing like a long time ago, kind of went popular, but he's basically saying every day go to 90 posts and leave your 2 cents. Leave a comment, your 2 cents. So it's like $1.80.
90 times a day?
Yeah.
What is this person doing full time?
They don't have a job. Well,
okay.
The thing
but
is,
it's just the strategy. Go with the strategy. Got it.
Yeah, they're homeless. They're homeless.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just
They live with their mom. They live with their mom. They don't make any money.
Living the dream.
Good morning, marketers. We are back today. We got both Tom.
What's up, Matt?
And we got Yaro.
Thanks for having me, Matt. Coming to you live from my aunt's second bedroom in Toronto as I'm traveling. So
Yaro is very proud of his lamp.
That's a green screen background. He's just pretending. Yaro doesn't leave his house.
All right, guys. So today we're going to talk a bit about some growth strategies that we have used for our businesses, as well as some growth strategies that we have observed from other companies and some more. So let's get into it. All right, so first thing is, let me share a bit about what we've been doing on the Good Morning Marketers podcast to distribute our content. I think that once everything is aligned and everything is working, it's going to do really well. But we've done some things really well and then dropped the ball on other parts and so on. But we haven't yet gone for like multiple weeks doing it all. We've had a few weeks where we did it all and then something broke. And then, it's been a lot of a team issue, like trying to get the right people in place to get all this stuff done. As I've tested different things, I've seen a lot more potential in this whole strategy we got. So here are some things that I've learned in distributing our content on social media. We have been using Filipino VAs to help us with the distribution. There's a lot of talented people out there that you can get, like offshore workers and so on. What I figured out, so this is first, I'll start with TikTok. When you schedule on TikTok, you can only schedule your TikToks on TikTok's website. So you cannot schedule on the app. And if you schedule through a third-party application, the API does not allow for direct scheduling, similar to how Instagram used to have that limitation. It will send you a notification using the platform's app. It'll preload your video in TikTok with your caption that you chose, but you have to actually hit the publish button at that time. So the only way to schedule your TikToks is on TikTok's website. So what happens when you have a VA in another country? Let's say we want to schedule our TikToks at 12 o'clock Pacific time. So if she schedules at 12 o'clock, but to her, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning or something, TikTok will publish it first to the people in your area. So even though she has calculated that, call it 3 a.m. is 12 p.m. Pacific, TikTok sees it as posting it at 3 a.m. in the Philippines. If it doesn't get a lot of engagement, it dies down. So what happened was she had scheduled all these TikToks and they all were tanking. Some of them getting like 0 to 2 views. I was like, what is going on? So I did a little bit of digging and research, and that's what I had figured out.
How do you figure that out?
How'd you? Yeah, I was just gonna ask.
How did you find that out?
Oh, because I deleted the post and then I reposted it myself. And then I got like 200 views.
Yeah, but how did you figure out that person in the Philippines and it's geo-tagging that they're the one uploading it and it's using their time zone?
Oh, I was watching this guy on YouTube.
Because I always wonder, is this people estimating? It's their assumptions like we always do when we're trying to figure out Google rankings or the YouTube algorithm. We think it works this way, but no one actually really knows for sure.
Right.
Here, I'm going to shout out this guy's channel, Robert Benjamin. He makes videos like every day about the algorithm on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. So I just been like randomly watching his videos. They come up on my feed a lot. He's pretty good. His videos are pretty good, actually. Like the little formula he's got going on for making the videos. He's doing some like obvious hacks to like increase his watch time, which are kind of like funny to me. He mentioned something about when you post it, best time to post is like, I think it says like 11 a.m. He's like, what time zone? He's like, it's the time zone that you're in. They're going to distribute it in your area first, which makes sense because a lot of TikTok is like cultural, right? Like whether it be a dance, music, whatever you're doing. So it's usually people in your area. It's probably like people in North America when I post it, right? Because we kind of would find the same thing sort of interesting. If we're talking about news or trends or whatever, like we are kind of in that same sphere. Whereas in the Philippines, they might be, they're into other stuff right now. I've been noticing, Yaro, you mentioned gorging one time in one of our past episodes, right? Apparently in the Philippines, it's like a big thing. They really like watching videos.
Just to clarify, that's food gorging, just so the audience knows what exactly.
I don't even know the word gorging. First time I ever heard it is when you mentioned it.
That's just watching a video where watching someone eat food. It's pretty straightforward.
But ever since you mentioned it to me, I've been noticing it more. I've been hearing the word more, and I learned that that's a very
and now he's
popular
subscribed to all the
trend.
most popular mukbanging
Gorging
I
channels.
don't watch. I do not watch. Anyways, so the point is scheduling on TikTok. You know they're gonna look first, like kind of your general area. The other thing I learned, again, I think I learned this from Robert or Googling something, is that now you can have longer captions in TikTok. And so what they're looking for is more descriptive text, and that potentially that they are using their AI to read your text to get context about what your TikTok is about. Whereas before they were relying more on hashtags. So apparently hashtags are out and long descriptions are in on TikTok. So when you schedule your TikTok, you can only schedule it on the TikTok website. If you have a VA doing it, get them to use a VPN. I believe the best time to post is like 11 a.m. All these platforms is like, I think it's arbitrary the time you post, as long as like within that area, right? But it's like 11, 3, and 8 or something like that. And then longer descriptions are now the thing.
With the TikTok caption, you're making it sound like metadata, like on a blog post. Because I was thinking about this when I was uploading my TikToks, and I was going and then using TikTok afterwards. I'm like, I don't actually see the title. I just watch the video. You know, you're scrolling through, and you just. So I was like, this is not influencing whether a human being watches the video unless they go to your profile page, see all your videos, and they see the titles, and then they choose it, which is not very common, right? So it's interesting to hear you say that, yeah, it might more be like a search ranking or context element, like a meta tag or meta description, just to tell the algorithm, which makes you think, can we do like way back in the late 1990s, the old keyword stuffing, you just type in blockchain, Nelk Boys.
Well, no, because I think that doesn't work because of this whole like GPT-3. Now they can get contextual information from what you type. The new update on Google, right, which was all about getting rid of all that AI content. I think the reason they switched to this is because the AI can kind of read and understand what you're typing. So I think that's probably why they switched. I've been noticing pretty much every company's kind of using this new kind of GPT-3 AI thing. I heard Amazon created some new AI thing that's better than GPT-3. So that's kind of what I think. I also noticed that when we tag somebody on a TikTok, like we at them, that also gets a lot more views. So mentioning other people, I think, is more powerful than hashtag. But you don't want to spam people by tagging people. But if you are talking about somebody or a company or something, will probably get you more views on TikTok as well. And also across the board, whether it be YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, I think consistency is probably the number one factor that plays into long-term growth. When we first started our TikTok, we were getting 20 views, 50 views, and then as we started, we were posting every day, right? And then it started getting to like 200 views, it just kept on growing. Then we didn't post for a week. I posted, it went back to 20 views. It's kind of challenging as a creator. You basically need to post every day. I think it's like a once a day thing.
What happens if you like repost previous content on this platform, or is that not how it works exactly with TikTok?
I haven't tried it, but I'm sure that if you were to like repost something, I would change the file name when you upload it. If you could change the music in the background or something, just something so that way this AI thing cannot figure it out would maybe work. I deleted the post that my VA uploaded and I re-uploaded it, and that did work. So that could be a potential thing. I don't know if it's good or bad if you're deleting your past posts, but for the most part, you really want to grow business's brand, a creator. You got to look at, how do I post every single day?
So what's the metric on TikTok? Is it followers?
I honestly think that the whole TikTok followers and likes and all that, I think it's mostly fake. We talked about this before.
Yeah.
And I also think that YouTube is copying that strategy. I think the views that we're getting on our shorts are fake. I have some theories around that too. I think that we're going to start seeing more and more of that. I think you're going to start seeing your reels. You're going to be like, oh, wow, I got a lot of views. And I think that TikTok started this whole fake followers, fake likes, fake views trend.
Well, that's the metaverse.
We should call it's more like fake views are the easiest to fake. When you get likes, you might look at who liked, and then you can look at their profiles and be like, these are a lot of fake profiles, which I noticed that, right? Mm-hmm. And same with the followers. I noticed I get a lot of, they look like fake followers.
It's like reading the text in the Matrix. The outside eye can't see it. It just looks like numbers on the screen. But when you go in, you see bot, AI, bot.
If it's somebody's name with numbers and then they haven't posted anything and they're following a bunch of people, but they have no followers.
Yep.
Like, I'm like, that's fake.
Matt, are you using like an email list though as part of this strategy? Because to me, that's always been the metric I would judge the most. So yeah, I get 1,000 views or 10,000 views or whatever to a video. Great. I'm more known. I've got more engagement. But at the end of the day, I want them to actually take an action, which is usually subscribe to the channel. But really, I want them to subscribe to my email newsletter. So is that part of what we're doing for Good Morning Marketers, or is that not it yet?
I have been driving everybody to YouTube.
Okay.
So everywhere we post, everything we do is go to YouTube, subscribe on YouTube, watch on YouTube, right? That sort of thing. Email list is definitely a better idea. Well, I mean,
What's
it's a
the
good
next
idea.
step after YouTube?
Yeah, but I think with like TikTok right now, it's just a matter of like getting people to even care that we're posting. We're still trying to figure out what is a content that's going to work, right? We need to build the relationship with the audience. Tom and I talked about this on our last episode we recorded together, was this whole idea of it's very difficult to have a relationship with the people on TikTok, because when you're on TikTok, the kind of content there, it's not really like personal. On Instagram, people are posting they're out for dinner with their friends, they're doing these things, right? It's like you're getting to know people, right? Whereas TikTok, it's all about broadcast, entertainment, broadcast, right? So it's harder to kind of build that relationship.
Twitter is the same. I remember a person talk about growth strategies for Twitter, and they said it's all about consistency, like you said, Matt, but also engagement in other people's content. It was like got to be part of the community.
That's absolutely correct. All right, so the next topic here is on Instagram and what's working there. So it's pretty clear, everybody knows right now, it's all about Reels. You even see some pages that post an image, but they actually make it into a video, into a Reel, and then they post it as a Reel, even though it's just like a meme image, just because Reels are getting so much more distribution. And previously, Instagram had launched IGTV, which originally started off with, I think there were 3-minute videos originally, but eventually they went up to 20-minute videos that you could upload into IGTV. They had a separate app. IGTV was not vertical video. I mean, I think it could be vertical video. I'm not even sure, but I think it was more so to replace sort of YouTube style video, right? A horizontal video. And it seems like now they're getting rid of that. Now they actually converted all videos into Reels. I actually went back, I looked at one of my other Instagram pages where I'd uploaded these 20-minute long or 10-minute long IGTV videos, because at the time that's what was hot, and those are all now Reels, right? So it's basically a 20-minute reel. So people might look at, if you ever see a reel that's over, I think now Reels can be 90 seconds on Instagram. They're 1 minute on Facebook and 90 seconds on Instagram. It's ridiculous. But if you ever notice a reel that's much longer than 90 seconds, is because Instagram has converted all videos into Reels. And we had made a previous video about when Meta allowed scheduling of Reels through the Creator Studio. We made a video about this. I don't know if you guys were there. I think it was me and Andrew. And I noticed there were some comments on there. One person left a comment that said, if you came here for instructions on how to schedule Reels, this is not it. Because we did not actually show. So I actually want to show, I have my screen open right here, about how to actually go and schedule your Reels on Instagram. So if you're in Creator Studio, you go to the Instagram tab, you go to Create Post, and then go to IG Video, videos 60 seconds or longer. Okay, if you go into here and you upload it, that is a Reel. It does not say upload a Reel. That is previously how you would upload an IGTV. That's why everyone's getting very confused about how to schedule Reels on Instagram, because it does not say specifically that you're scheduling a Reel. It just says a video, okay? So I'll go, again, create post, IG video, and then go ahead and select your page. Now, if you want to schedule a Reel on Facebook, you can just go and click on create Reel. So right here on this button, and then you can actually upload your Reel directly like that, right? And again, on Facebook, Reels can only be 60 seconds. On Instagram, they can now be 90 seconds. I think that's a weird misstep by Facebook, because now when we are creating our Reels, we started creating 90-second Reels, then we realized we could not upload them on Facebook. And anytime there's a new feature on any social network, I always recommend you jump on the bandwagon and use that feature, because you're going to get a lot more exposure anytime there's a new feature. So when Facebook introduced Facebook Reels, we want to jump on it. But what I was getting to is that we couldn't upload our Reels as Reels, so they got uploaded as regular videos, but they were just vertical videos. And then when I looked at the insights, the videos were getting more distribution and reach than the Reels, which is weird. But I did previously notice that we were getting more impressions by just uploading the vertical video as a video versus a Reel on Facebook.
Is that still the case now?
I don't know. It was just a weird thing I was noticing. We only did that because we couldn't upload because it was 90 seconds. So we could not upload it as a reel. So then it just got uploaded as a regular video. It was actually a mistake, but we still didn't get that much distribution. Like we have like 30,000 people like our Facebook page, and like we post a video, we get like 200 impressions. The organic reach on Facebook, like I heard that Facebook's back, Facebook organic reach, right? But not really seeing it. You know, it's kind of hard, I guess, because we didn't post for many years on our page. So maybe that's why people are not as engaged on the page in general. It's like they're like old likes, right? So next up is around what I've learned about the Reels, TikToks, Shorts, editing, trying to get more reach, stuff like that. Different things that I've learned. One is that adding music to your Reels, TikTok, Shorts helps with the algorithm. So what happens is there's a lot of trending sounds, trending music. So if you notice, why do people keep using the same sort of music?
So annoying.
Yeah, but there's something in it. You use it, boom, you get way more reach. I guess because music trending, people like it. I don't know. It's interesting. I want to start experimenting with using other instrumentals for popular songs. I heard someone do one with like Kanye West's Runaway. I've heard one with Dr. Dre's Still DRE, where they're not trending, but they're just like old school sounds that like we know. But yeah, you could look up trending sounds, TikTok, trending music, you know, something like that, and incorporate those into all aspects, Reels, TikTok, Shorts, right? The other one was sound effects. So when we use sound effects, those videos have the most views, to the several thousands versus several hundreds. So that in combination with
Cue
animation.
applause.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Or I was thinking fart noise for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, let's say you're going to show an image of something, right? So I think a lot of movement in the video, again, I think the AI is kind of reading it, and it like there's more movement in the video. I think it's more engaging. Plus, probably it's increasing the watch time, right? But let's say you're going to show an image of something and it goes whoosh, and it comes up, but you have that whoosh sound, right? And then you have money, cha-ching, or you have, you know, like stuff like that. So sound effects work.
Editor, please add those in for this reel. Okay.
Yeah. Well, now we have, that's our editors doing all that stuff. The other one was subtitles. So before we were doing subtitles that were just straight up like captioned subtitles, right? Then we moved to partial subtitles. So it's kind of like not word for word what we're saying, but it's emphasizing what we're saying along with some emojis and so on. Alex Harmozy makes really good Reels, TikTok, Shorts. I've been noticing a lot of other kind of creators, influencers kind of modeling that. I don't know whether or not he modeled somebody else. I just noticed that the way he writes his text, the font, the colors, the emojis, I've been noticing a lot of other creators doing similar. I think he does a really good job with his, but also his pacing is also really good. So last thing I noticed here on, you know, whenever you're uploading your Reels, TikToks, and Shorts is that when you tag people, specifically like tagging them in the video, that also helps your reach. I think also like tagging them in your caption is probably going to help. But I think the idea there is that if you tag people, it's kind of telling the algorithm like you're with other people. This is not like solo content. Other people are involved in it. There's times where I maybe tag Yaro, I've tagged Andrew, that sort of thing. And I noticed just scanning our views and stuff that those actually get more views than when I tag nobody. And then when it comes to hashtags, if you use irrelevant hashtags, does not work. If you use like very popular hashtags, doesn't do nothing. You have to have hashtags that have actual engagement around them. People are having real conversations around these hashtags. Otherwise, it's better to use no hashtag. So I like to look at hashtags and look at how many tweets per minute, or call it tweets per hour or posts per hour, however you want to say it, that it's getting. I like hashtags that get between, you know, maximum of 10 tweets per hour. If a hashtag has like 1 tweet per week, not bad. If it's got 1 tweet per month, that's okay. But I wouldn't get something that's getting like, you know, a tweet a minute or like a post a minute. It's just too popular. As soon as you post, your post is gone. But at the same time, if you use like hashtag YouTube, it doesn't mean anything. There's no conversations around hashtag YouTube. And other ones like hashtag YouTube community or something like that, it's been overused. So now there's just too many people using it. It becomes irrelevant. When we talked about like Garyvee and VFriends, right? We could use the hashtag for VCon 2022. That has real conversations, people posting real stuff, but you don't want to spam it. As long as we are actually talking about VCon, it would make sense to use it. People might see the content and engage with it and so on. So hashtags are really important to find the right hashtags. Otherwise, no hashtags at all.
Matt,
Yeah.
Are you releasing this, like our long form podcast? I know we call it a podcast, but it's on YouTube. Are you also releasing it as an actual cast, an audio only format?
Yeah, I call this a YouTube podcast now.
Yeah, I mean, that's where podcasting is pretty much heading towards. Isn't it strange that we talk all about AI algorithm for all these channels, but we never talk about it for podcasting itself on podcasting? You know, like it's so limited what we can control in order to get more downloads on that particular audio.
That's the thing with a podcast. I'm uploading the podcast. We get between 0 to 10 downloads per episode. But sometimes when we talk about certain topics, I guess people are searching for that. We have some of the podcasts that have a few hundred or a few thousand downloads. But, you know, I think in order to kind of promote a podcast, you have to promote it on another podcast. That's my thinking. I haven't really focused on it.
And there's no search engine for podcasts, which is kind of crazy. You know, you should be able to search for a term and see like episodes on that topic or something like that. But I don't believe there's an effective search engine for it.
YouTube's got,
right.
The USA now has their own podcasting section. Clearly they're going into it. But even then, I don't think most people are going to see a YouTube episode podcast as an actual podcast. They're still going to see it as a YouTube video that's just long form. Like to me, a podcast is you have it on your phone and you're listening to it as you walk or exercise or drive or something. And that's a different experience. It is crazy that there hasn't been a search, like some kind of platform or just make iTunes better.
Yeah. iTunes, or you think even YouTube, even Google would be able to pounce on this, being like having the two major search engines.
Yeah, or Spotify, you know, they're the ones who went in podcasting first. But I remember I was looking for something. I was just trying to find some new episodes of podcasts to, you know, basic discovery of new podcasts using my phone. And I think I had the Google Player. I used the search and it's just coming up with
exactly
the main 2 or 3 shows on something and then a whole bunch of random shows that look like they had nothing to do with the topic. So definitely, like, it's underdeveloped, that part of podcasting.
I talked to you about this before, Yaro. I was looking into dynamic ad insertion. You remember I told you about this, where there was only certain podcast players that actually had that feature, which is where you can insert ads into your podcast after it's already been released. So if you're selling advertising at a CPM, let's say you're charging $100 per 1,000 downloads or something like that. But if you're getting on average, let's just say 1,000 downloads per episode, but all your backlog catalog gets an average of 3,000 downloads per month or something. So you can insert your ads in all your past catalog. Therefore, you could charge for 4,000 impressions versus only 1,000 or something, you know? But now it's actually getting introduced into a lot more podcast hosts. But I actually had this idea like a few years ago to create a platform which could work for any podcast host to be able to manage your dynamic ad insertion. But now it's just becoming more popular. We use Buzzsprout for our podcast host. We could do dynamic ad insertion. Unfortunately, we have absolutely no advertisers and no ads on our podcast. So it's not doing much.
You just got to get in touch with Manscaped. They'll sponsor anything.
I'd be a great Manscaped.
Give me your best Manscaped pitch, Matt. Wait, no. Save that till we're sponsored.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to hear it.
I'm one of the hairiest guys you've ever met. I got lasered.
Before and after.
I got lasered, right? And then I told a lady before I went there, I said, I'm probably going to be the hairiest guy you ever dealt with. She's like, no, we've had lots of hairy guys. Then after I went my first session, I'm like, was I the hairiest guy you ever had? She's like, absolutely. But not anymore. Not anymore. Yeah. So if you use Anchor to host your podcast, you can now upload video as part of your podcast on Spotify. So they first just limited now to only people using Anchor. So because we're on Buzzsprout, we can't put these videos on Spotify. But if you want to have a video podcast on Spotify, you can. I've been mostly promoting our podcast on Spotify. I previously used to use Apple as my podcast player. I find there's not one really good podcast player. We mentioned this on the show before that I think if any podcast player came out that allowed kind of like a social network within it, like commenting and so on, you know, would be way better.
Especially commenting at certain points in the interview. That's part of the problem or the pain with them as well. Like there's no interaction with people.
Oh, yeah.
Remember SoundCloud tried to do it. I think the problem is it's fragmented. There's no super dominant. I mean, iTunes is the most dominant, but that's because most people have iPhones. So it's weird. Like
even then, do you know when you use Apple, I think Spotify too, because it's downloading the files on your device. So then if you're interested in this, it starts downloading all these different podcasts, right? I noticed before I would have like 50 gigs of audio files. And so when my phone starts filling up and I go look at how do I use my file size, I'm like, holy shit, there's so much audio being like 50 gigs of audio is like a lot to have, right? But if I don't hit that automatically download these episodes. Then if I'm out and about, I gotta wait. I have to hit download, wait for it to download in order to play. Like the whole experience is just not that great.
I see a merger happening too, right? Because even just what you've mentioned, Spotify doing video, YouTube going podcast, and Yaro, you mentioned like the podcast being like a unique experience, which I think it is, but I think it's going to be meshed here in a few years. Like I think that's the trend. Because I have, for instance, and I'm just one person, but that's why I pay for YouTube, $10 a month or something.
YouTube Premium, I got that.
Yeah, so I can play it and then turn my phone off and just listen. Most of the stuff I listen to is YouTube videos with no video. And I don't know that I'm a unique case in that. I don't know, maybe I am. But I do feel like there's definitely a merger happening. People just want to be able to access the information. And I think the ideal scenario is I can turn it on to video if I want. I can just listen it to audio if I want.
That's what I heard as a possible free option if the podcast area of YouTube becomes like the dominant podcasting space. Yeah. They will allow the YouTube app to stream without you having to pay for the premium service. So you can basically have it in your pocket without put it on closed mode and it'll keep playing. It's interesting. This is triggering a conversation I heard between Lex Friedman, super famous podcaster, interviewing the Botas sisters. They're like professional chess players, a couple of young Romanian ladies, and they're streamers and YouTubers. They were talking about, it's almost like everything you're saying, Matt, about optimizing for an algorithm for engagement. And they were saying like, yeah, for YouTube, you got to make sure that first 1 second of the video grabs attention, open loops, hooks, constant screen changes. You got to cut things down to the bare minimum best parts. And then Lex is like, yeah, on my podcast, I can just ramble on, say nothing forever, and I don't have to worry about optimizing at all for any of that, as we are.
That's true. That's a significant part of the translation too, to combining of two, because the algorithms work differently, I'm guessing too, and that would impact you on YouTube if you normally ramble, but it's not optimized for YouTube then in that case. But there's clearly a lot of long form content that people do consume on YouTube that's not like that as well.
Yeah, well, you're right. It's the consumption method. Like if you press play expecting to listen to a long conversation in your pocket without looking at the visuals, you don't care about the changing camera angles. You don't care about it being, 10 minutes, get to the point. And that's the same too with using YouTube as a search engine to solve a problem. Like you're saying, Matt, you just had to teach people how to do something with posting, Instagram, scheduling, right? You had to make sure the video, like I said, we all know you're going to create a little short from that section. So if people search for how to schedule a post on Instagram, hopefully your short or your video will show up and it'll give an answer to the question. So it's very Google orientated versus a podcast, which is kind of long form entertainment. And then you've got in between like a 15-minute YouTube video, which probably is not instructional, but still needs to be edited down without the rambling like a podcast has. So it is really all about the intent behind the consumption of the format. And what's interesting about YouTube, they're kind of slotting into all formats. They're getting solutions to a problem in super short form. They're getting entertainment 10-minute long, now doing podcasting, which could be an hour, or, Lex Friedman, he's had 5-hour long episodes, which is insane. Like I can't imagine watch time numbers that guy must have in his YouTube studio with 5-hour episodes. So it's hard to juggle. I think that's why YouTube is probably dipping their toes in slowly.
Do you get rewarded for watch time on YouTube, like ad revenue? Does that increase if you have more, if people watch more of longer videos?
Yeah, you got more time to insert ads, right?
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, it's based on watch time, yeah. But what I think it is like with podcasts, the way people consume it, they're maybe at the gym, going out for a walk, a bike ride, run, they're driving. Whereas on YouTube, you're like holding your phone, maybe. I think 70 or 80% of YouTube is watching the phone. So there's a lot of this sort of looking for the next thing. You're tapping a lot on your phone, right? You're not just kind of like doing something else, kind of background, you're listening. But also when you have somebody in your ears and talking to you, I feel like you really build a relationship. Like the people who I listen to on podcasts, like I feel like I know them. I feel like I have a stronger affinity towards them versus the YouTubers. Like I mentioned earlier about this Robert Benjamin guy. I don't feel like I know that guy. I watch his content. I know nothing about him. I don't know where he lives. I don't know nothing. All I know is he's giving me some information about the algorithm. I listened to Marketing School with Neil Patel, Eric Sue. I like that show. Way too many ads on their podcast if they're listening to this. It's like getting annoying. But it's like every episode is like the first 60 seconds is the same freaking ad. But I listen to them through there, and like there's always little things where like I start to feel like I know them. I know what they're up to. I know where they went, where they traveled, all these kind of things, right? So I feel like if I were to bump into them, I would feel like I kind of know them. Whereas on YouTube, sometimes you have that same sort of, certain people. You could build that on YouTube. That's one thing with podcasting, why it could be long form, because it's kind of going for an hour-long drive. You don't want to touch your phone. I like to just find something to listen to. I hit play. I find it difficult now to listen to Marketing School because their episodes are very short and there keeps on being this like 1 minute ad I have to skip every time, and I'm driving, so I can't keep touching my phone. So I actually stop listening to it while I'm driving because it's annoying. I hope they listen to this because seriously, it's very annoying.
Your odds are not good, Pat. But you did manage to get the attention of
Megan,
Yeah.
we actually had the attention of a lot of people. We talked about Dropbox. We talked to Dropbox. I just talked to the founders of Q and Q Promote. They actually said they want to sponsor our show, so we're going to be doing something with them. So it does work sometimes.
I want you to produce a skit for their sponsorship, Matt.
What kind of skit for Q Promote?
I don't know. You just got to make it happen.
Well, we'll do something fun. All right, so next up is engaging on Twitter. So what I find interesting is it is easy to admin somebody to your Twitter account to go in and engage on your behalf. You guys are familiar with Garyvee's $1.80 strategy?
No.
You guys ever heard of that?
Never heard of it.
He put up this thing like a long time ago. It kind of went popular, but he's basically saying every day go to 90 posts and leave your 2 cents. Like leave a comment, your 2 cents. So it's like $1.80.
90 times a day?
Yeah.
What is this person doing full time?
They don't have a job. Well,
Okay,
the thing
but
is,
it's just the strategy. Go with the strategy. Got it. Not
yeah, they're homeless. They're homeless.
Okay.
Yeah,
Just
they
wanted
live,
to
they live with their mom. They live with their mom.
Got
They don't make any money.
living the dream.
So that's the thing is that on Instagram, it is not possible to do this unless you give somebody your password. So I'm not going to do this. I want my VA to do this or someone. I want to see what they posted too, right? I want to be able to review it. So I found out that I was surprised to figure out that there's no way to do this unless you give somebody your password, or obviously you can use some password manager, but you have to give them access to your actual account. When you admin somebody through Creator Studio or something like that, you can admin them to your Instagram account, but only to read your DMs and respond to DMs and to schedule content. You can't go into Instagram and start engaging with people. But on Twitter, you can, and it's very easy. You just use TweetDeck. You go to tweetdeck.twitter.com. As long as that person has a Twitter account, you can admin them to your Twitter account, and they could use TweetDeck to engage on your behalf. So I had my VA do this. They could either just heart other posts and stuff, actually like respond, leave comments. We did a little bit of this, and then right away, people were starting to engage with our posts and so on. When we first started posting on Twitter, we were getting pretty good views on our videos. But as we kept on doing it and we were not engaging with anybody, we're just broadcasting, our views went to 0. Then we started doing the engagement thing, our views are right back up. So there's that aspect that you should also do this on Instagram. And again, only way to do it right now, give somebody your password. It sucks. You could also do this on TikTok. You could do this on, I guess you could do this on LinkedIn. The idea is that when you engage with other people's posts, they're going to engage with you. I used to do this all the time, like on Facebook and all, I always know this. If you just always are engaging with other people's posts, the algorithm is going to think that you guys have more affinity with each other, and then it's going to show your posts to them. So the more comments you leave on your friends' posts on Facebook and so on, the more that your posts are going to show up in their feed, and the more likely that they're going to comment on your post because you commented on theirs. It's like reciprocal. So that's kind of how it works. And the other thing is you could use Q Promote. Q Promote is a tool where you can actually submit your content in there. They will distribute it amongst people who use Q. And Q is a free social media management tool. So basically you say, I want you to tweet on my behalf. Here are the topics that I'm interested in. And then they will just feed content on your Twitter profile of sharing articles and videos and so on. So if I say, hey, I'm into travel or something like that. So people who have content about travel can submit it into Q Promote, and then it will get fed into Q. So, and then whenever it gets fed and they post it, they are also replying you. So that therefore you're getting more mentions on Twitter, which I think is also going to, again, help the algorithm. And I also think that social mentions will help boost your relevancy of your domain on Google and your domain authority and so on. Talked about this before, but I think it helps a lot with SEO. So those are the ways that I would kind of grow the Twitter engagement, beyond obviously creating content, posting, all that. But you need to be engaging with other people. Use TweetDeck and get as many mentions as you can. And you can use Q Promote and similar tools.
You need an army to do all this, Matt. There's so many things to do.
Yeah, just need one really good VA, I think. But yeah.
So guys, I wanted to talk about a really interesting insight since we're talking about growth. This is a little more about startup companies trying to get to that magical unicorn $1 billion valuation status. And I have a podcast called Vested Capital, and I interview founders. So I had just coincidental timing. I went from one interview straight to another one. First one was with a guy named Yaya, and his last name is not easy to pronounce, but he's one of 3 brothers who are the founders of Truebill, a company that got acquired by Rocket. Truebill is a really handy app. Basically, it's like a finance app. You can connect it to your bank, and then it'll tell you what recurring payments you've got going. You can click a cancel button to cancel the payment. It'll renegotiate bills for you. So, you see your mobile phone bill or your internet bill, and you can click renegotiate, and it'll then go and look at competing offers and get you something potentially.
Hey, real quick, how come I look up Truebill? Wow, how long ago were they acquired? Because if you look up Truebill on Google, it just right away, rocketmoney.com comes up.
Well, when they got acquired, they got renamed. So the app is no longer called Truebill. It's now called Rocket Money. But they got acquired.
How long
at the
ago
start
was
of
this?
Not too long ago, 2022. It was the start of this year they got acquired.
Oh, okay. So, okay, cool.
I guess
All right,
Rocket's doing good SEO though to change all the Truebill.
It looks really good,
redirects.
actually. It looks really good, and yeah.
Well, it
anyways.
should. It's True. Rocket is a multi-billion-dollar company, and Truebill, got acquired for 1.275 billion. So
What is Rocket Money?
it's the same. All these
money
things I'm
app?
saying that Truebill did, now it's the same thing on Rocket Money. So it's like one of those super apps for personal finance. It just does a whole lot of stuff. The origin story for Truebill, though, was that bill canceling function. So interesting hearing the startup founder explain how they had the MVP. So they built the app to plug into your bank using Plaid, and then you could basically click a cancel button in the app to a subscription, but there was no automation. In the back end, the founder, the guy I interviewed, would literally get on the phone, pretend to be a VA for that person, and try and cancel the subscription through the bank for them. So every time one of the first users clicked that button, he had to manually go and make phone calls and cancel bills for people. But it was a true MVP, it tested, it worked. But what I want to talk about is the growth part of this. And I want to introduce Fireflies as well. It's the other company, way more startup. They just raised 14 million. They're a company in the AI space. You probably know them.
Wait, this is going to be related to Truebill, right?
So yeah, so these are two companies, different stages. But the reason I bring up Truebill and Fireflies is their growth strategy. So just to clarify, Fireflies is a AI transcription tool. It comes into your Zoom call or it comes into your Microsoft Teams call. It streams what you're saying. It then gives you a transcription, and there's some AI it can do to pull out the key points and put it into like Salesforce or HubSpot or whatever. So it's a bit of transcriptioning, a bit of AI. Now, what's interesting, Truebill. So with their growth strategy, I was perking. I always ask, how did you guys get your first 100 customers, 1,000 customers? And then, then how did you get to, they got up to 100 million plus before they were acquired. I thought with Truebill, it would be like this viral growth strategy. Everyone's talking about how they're saving money and using the app. And the guy said, you know what? It was a little bit of that, but never really went viral. It was good old fashioned ad buying, like, buying Facebook ads, Google ads to start with, trying to get spend $100, try to get $101 back in new customers. The reason why they kind of stuck to that more than anything else, because I said, what about influencer marketing? What about social? They said, all that stuff can give you a boost, but if you're a venture-backed company, you need to see consistent growth. It can't be just, oh yeah, we got a feature by this YouTube finance blogger. Yeah, we got an extra 1,000 customers, but a week later, that's it. We don't get that boost again, and we can't keep going back to that source. You only can go once or twice, and then it's tapped out. The good thing about paid ads is you can keep going every week, every day basically, and drive new customers, which frankly is also what my own company is doing right now. We're driven a lot by Google ads. However, Fireflies, completely different story. They're obviously earlier in their growth cycle, but they have this very simple self-spreading viral component where you're in a Zoom call, or even like what we're doing now, it could be in a Riverside call, and there would be Fireflies would be one of the actual attendees along with Matt and Tom, and that Fireflies bot would be recording the conversation. And let's say it was my Fireflies account, Matt or Tom would say, who's this Fireflies thing? And I'd say, oh, it's this app I'm using, does the transcripts of what we're saying, and then I can, plug it into a blog post or whatever. And then both you guys, Tom and Matt, would then know about Fireflies. So they're kind of getting this inbuilt virality by just using the app itself. Completely different to the sort of forced paid acquisition. Now, Fireflies may need to one day have forced or paid ads as a reliable source of new customers, but right now they've got this great free engine of virality. So I thought it was a really interesting compare and contrast of different types of growth strategies for very different types of companies.
That reminds me of like when you had Hotmail. The beginning, and there was that little thing at the bottom that said, get a free email address here. Dropbox did something.
So Dropbox too, like PayPal had the, you get $5 if you refer a friend, which has got to be the ultimate bribe, free money.
That's right. And then Dropbox had get 2 gigs free. There's a name for that when you do that. A viral loop.
Like viral coefficient kind of thing?
Yeah. It's an affiliate program ultimately, but yeah.
But how do you feel about Fireflies basically promoting themselves during your webinar?
Well, they're not really promoting themselves. They're just there doing their job. But it happens to be like what you said with the Hotmail example. You send an email and the signature happens to say powered by Hotmail. You're like, oh, what's Hotmail? And the same story here. Oh, I'm using this app. It's doing something. What is the app? Oh, okay.
But you could white label it. So it'd be called the, Yaro assistant. You could name it.
Well, I guess you could. But then obviously Fireflies was one of those things where they could start. It's free and you got to have their branding. You pay a premium price. You get rid of the branding.
That's right.
If that's important.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's
Yeah,
important.
yeah.
For something like this, I don't like it's not a detriment to have
No, it's
Firefly's
not.
AI versus Yaro AI. It is different when it's like watermark on our YouTube videos, you know, like that and like I don't want
Yeah, yeah,
that. I
yeah,
want
yeah.
that removed. And
Well, I don't like people like when they make a website or something and they have the footer at the bottom that says built by and then there's a link back to them. I don't like it. You know, it's our website. You never put your
well, it
logo.
might be
You know, you
cheaper.
don't.
Sometimes the web designer says I'll give you 10% off if you let me brand it in the footer.
Oh, right. Yeah. So you're saying Truebill was all about Google Ads.
Well, now they've got like 50 different paid ad channels going now, but certainly what I thought was interesting, I said to them, surely this is going to spread through word of mouth or through influencer marketing. And he said they're good starting points for new startups, but at scale, you need to show consistent growth every day. You can't just show 500 when you run one campaign, 1,000 new users when you run another. You've got to be able to turn on a faucet and keep that growth coming in, especially for VCs who want to see that, you know, to keep investing. It made me think that's interesting because everything we're talking about now, Matt, all of the social hacking, influencer marketing, SEO, I guess is pretty stable, but a lot of the stuff we're talking about that's more on the social side is very roller coaster. You get a hit because someone shares something or talks about you and then you're gone. And then you get a viral video, but then it's gone.
I've also, though, my experience too, though, and this is maybe for somebody bootstrapping, because not all of us can get venture back, so to speak, or you want to bootstrap your own thing, hustle your own thing. Those can be effective channels, obviously, no doubt, and especially at scale. Like, that makes sense. It's like when you got to get these growth numbers, but when you're just hustling, it's like, well, we got up to 7 figures just through affiliates, and I don't feel like I've hit the depths of that well. So even with that said, I think there's a lot of ways to get to that maybe like first 7 figures or whatever and beyond. I think for me, I probably have to change my mindset around ads because we effectively have not done any ads. We haven't done any content marketing. We haven't done any social media. Straight up just affiliate play, really. So,
but you have an email list, right? Like every time you're doing something, it's going
we built
on
an
the
email list. Yeah, we built an email list through the affiliates.
That's the reliable part, right? Because then you've got an every single day or every
Correct.
single week power. So
Yep.
it is funny how often internet marketers, information marketers will always reinforce this email list importance. It's penetrating into the social world because of Substack and the idea of running a newsletter. Twitter has like, you know, sign up to my newsletter, but it's still so rare. Like think of all the YouTube videos we watch. How often do they ever say, click, you know, go here to sign up to my newsletter or download my free report or, you know, get something in return for signing up? It doesn't happen. It's always like, subscribe, vote up, usual trio. So there's definitely a disconnect there.
Well, it reminds me of like, yeah, kind of typical disconnect between like, well, a lot of people don't know about direct response market, right? And didn't you kind of get into that stuff, Yaro, when you were just getting started, like direct response style of marketing and that kind of stuff?
I'm a classic story, right? I started blogging and I was like, I got to grow my RSS feed following for those old school people who know what an RSS feed is, right? I didn't believe in email until someone said to me, or I started hearing the stories of, oh, I sent one email, you know this very well, Tom, and $30,000 in affiliate sales came back. And I'm like, wow, that's way more money than I make from writing a blog post.
Yep.
So I was like, okay, I got to add email to the mix. Then tripled my business and pretty much was responsible for most sales going forward. That's why I think there's so much low-hanging fruit for these influencers and these YouTubers to convert some of their audience to email and then actually start anything, affiliate marketing, selling their own stuff, DTC, e-commerce, so many opportunities.
Do you know like what the MRR of Truebill, you know, what their, you know, revenue growth was versus Firefly's? I would imagine with ads, they're probably, you know, into the several hundreds of millions per month, whereas Firefly's not doing ads, you know, like what are they also doing tens of millions or what?
Yeah, I think the reason I bring up these two, first of all, it's not a direct comparison because we've got kind of like got the outcome from Truebill. They got acquired for over $1 billion. Fireflies have just, you know, raised their Series A for 14 million. So they're much earlier on that growth curve. However, both the founders told me about this early phase. So Fireflies is talking about the early phase now because they're still in it. And Truebill talked about the early phase because that was part of the storytelling, right? And the way Fireflies was saying, yeah, we're getting viral word of mouth because of use of the tool encourages spreading of Fireflies. Where Truebill was an aha for me too. He said, for whatever reason, even if you use something like Truebill or Rocket as it's called now, you're doing something that you might not want to talk about. Like you're trying to reduce your costs. It's like, I don't want to talk about the fact that I have to figure out how to save money or I'm paying too much money for something and I was an idiot. I was paying recurring subscription fees when I shouldn't have. So there's no kind of like, not enough anyway of a viral spread due to value and pride and excitement to share. The stigma is stronger and keeps people from talking about it. So it was interesting insight.
Yeah, I avoid social media for startup. I'm just thinking right now, I got 2 clients working with. I won't say their names. One's a software company, kind of like ClickFunnels, let's say. The other one's an e-commerce brand. The software company, right now, our strategy is, get all the messaging down, the landing pages and so on, and then JVs. Joint ventures, get on webinars. ClickFunnels, the way that they first started, Russell Brunson was doing JVs to a $1,000 annual plan to ClickFunnels, and he had an offer stack, a bunch of courses with it. But basically, he was selling the annual plan, which was normally $100 a month, but then he was giving all these bonuses, right? And he would do webinars, giving, 50%, 40% commissions to those JVs. So that's kind of what we're doing. And then that's the first phase. And then the second phase is ads. For this e-commerce brand, our first phase is ads. I just want to get the whole page up and just go Google Ads crazy. And the second one is to try to get the people who are buying and so on to spread the word. I've got some ideas about how to do that. But founder of that company, initially wanted to do Instagram and social media and work with influencers. And I was like, there's absolutely no way that this is going to pay off. Like the amount of time it's going to take by the time you actually build traction, the amount of money you're spending. I'm like, if you give me just an Instagram account versus just a website, I will 100x revenue on just a website versus just an Instagram account. You just can't. And even on Instagram, I think the way to get started is just the DMs, getting people's DMs and just basically be like, hey, are you interested in buying my thing? Or find affiliates or, build relationships. It's not about posting content and getting engagement. But I do think that if someone runs into the ad, gets on the website, and then goes and checks out Instagram and TikTok or whatever, and they see there's good content, good engagement, influencers talking about it, all that, you could leverage all that stuff for higher conversions. If we work with some influencers in the space and we put their pictures on the website and then show their posts, I think that will help improve conversions from the ads, and also doing retargeting and so on, right? And then getting people on your email list is great, but if they're also on your social media, following you there, and they kind of see you everywhere, that's also good. But in terms of initial revenue growth to stay in business, I don't think social media is where it's at.
Yeah, I mean, I've tried it. Granted, we're not good at it, but I tried it a little bit in the past, with Instagram, Facebook. Pinterest actually has been useful for us in a strange way, but probably more than those other ones. But I've measured it. I've always measured and tracked. I always have tracking links for everything because I'm curious. I'm what does any of this produce? Pretty much nothing compared to the email list. Again, that's just the zone of competence for me, though. I think some people are just really savvy at social media. Some people like Garyvee, they can post 90 things a day. They can slide into people's DMs. Otherwise, it does become kind of a really difficult enterprise. And just to try to go from 0 to 60 on an affiliate program or a joint venture or influencer marketing, that's not a realistic strategy either, especially if you don't have a proven product and a proven funnel.
You have to go all in. I'm noticing now with our YouTube thing is I'm now spending at least 10 hours a week on the show, which is a lot for me. But I know if I had nothing else to do and just do the show, I'll grow the shit out of it. I know what I need to do. I just don't have the time to do it. I was recently telling a friend about, Arak. He went from 3,000 subscribers or something. And then he's like, this year I'm going to get to 1 million. And he did 1 million. And now I think he was at, last time we checked this, I want to say 5 or 7 million or something like that.
What does he do?
Which is,
what does he talk about?
He's kind of like Mr. Beast in a unique way. He does it in a much more unique way. Whoa, 9.4. I swear a few days ago he was at 7. Okay. So that means he went from, in 1 year, he went all in on YouTube, completely broke, in debt, right? He took debt out in order to go and buy Logan Paul's couches and all this stuff, right? Credit card debt, all that kind of stuff. Then he got to 1 million. And even at that time, you could tell he was not rich. Now he's going to close off this year at over 10 million. And I'm sure he's doing very well. And he also raised money for his course called Creator Now, which is all about a course on how to become a YouTube creator. So he's doing the whole course thing.
So that's where the money that'll make up for that amount of hustle that took.
That's right. But that was probably 1 year of being broke, huge risk, financial debt, all that stuff, right? But I
hate to break it to everybody else listening. That 99% of people are not going to be able to do that.
And it's interesting, actually. His last video, it says, I trapped 100 strangers in complete darkness. What he's doing is trying to find his next assistant, and he's trying to find somebody who had character, right? Whatever. And it's actually an interesting video to watch because you see how certain people were really good on camera. They knew how to answer questions. They knew how to, whatever. It was very obvious who could be an entertainer and who couldn't. And I think that's it, is that he knew he had the skill to be an entertainer. He went all in on it. But, 2 years later, now I'm guessing he's making millions. I'm guessing he's pretty rich right now.
I mean, just in the AdSense, he'd have to be making millions.
Yeah. At 10 million subscribers, that's huge for a YouTuber.
What's average video watch How many views?
His last video 3 days ago has got 5 million views.
What is it on average? Like 1 million views is something. I mean, I guess it would depend.
No.
Right?
He's like 4 million average. What is it? 5 million, 8 million, 6. Yeah. But he also has his course, right? I think the course is like $1,000, $2,000. I don't even know what it is, right? So he's kind of like in our sphere selling courses, which is very smart. Right.
That's the hustle right there. I mean, that's smart. It's like, I'm going to go after this YouTube thing and then I'm going to sell I'm going to sell an info product on this. Like,
yeah,
as corny as it is, like you can make a ton of money doing this still in any niche or industry. Like, just
and he
selling
still
what you
has
know.
sponsors. All the videos have a sponsor. You know, he's working with the big brands, same like kind of like what Mr. Beast would do. So he has all that revenue. Plus, who knows what's on the back end of that funnel? I mean, the course, but if he has a proper funnel and he's, you know, getting people in.
Matt, you should be very happy now. I just Googled air rack course just to find out, you know, I want to know
finally
actually.
comes up.
Well, you're there and you're like not the first video, but I'm seeing Matt's face in like the top 5 results. So,
Oh,
well
yeah.
done.
Nice. We are, our videos there. And oh, yeah, I see it there too. Oh, yeah, cool.
Do either of you know, or maybe Tom, I know you don't follow Airac so much, but Matt, do you know if the sales of his course are driven as a call to action from his YouTube videos, or does he actually have an email list that he will, you know?
He does have an email list. I'm on it, but he does launch style. So cohorts, it opens and closes. Like I'm on the page right now, it just is sold out. I can't even buy it right now. So he knows what he's doing, right? Like, it's like I've seen people like YouTubers do the whole course thing, but you can tell they don't know what they're doing. They're not doing the typical anything. If you look at Robert Benjamin that I was talking about, he has this YouTube course thing, but it's like the way it's all set up, the copy is direct response, but the way he has it is just, I mean, he's probably doing really well, I should say. I don't know what it is, but it's not like a typical sales page and this and an upsell funnel. It's just like you can buy this course, it's $100. This one's $200. You know, I think he's set up on like Thinkific or Kajabi or something like that.
Yeah, it's so funny how history repeats though. Like I remember, pick your channel, right? You know, like someone takes off on Facebook and it's like, oh, I'm going to do a course on how to grow your Facebook following. And then same thing, they do their own sales page and they had this dawning of appreciation. Oh, I could actually make more money selling how to grow on Facebook than.
Yeah, but that's it. That's how you. That's like there's levels to this game, right? And that's like you come to that realization at some point, like everybody does.
And I'm a hypocrite because I did the exact same thing with blogging. So, you know,
Yeah.
it's no difference.
I did it with launches, with publishing, same deal, man. It's like anything I want to get into, I'm like, I'm going to learn this and I'm going to teach it and sell it.
Yeah, I feel immensely proud of my current company because I'm not currently trying to just monetize only by teaching how to do an agency, you know, because it's the actual business itself that makes the money.
You know, it's funny, when we first started the show, we wrote down like, what is this show and what this show is not, right? And one of the things we wrote was like that we were not going to sell courses and we were not going to promote crypto and like all these things. And like, and now I'm thinking about it, honestly. The other day
We had to backtrack on all those promises. Guys, I got a new coin.
No, I don't think we're going to sell crypto, but
You got to get my coin to buy my course.
No, I was thinking like in order to keep the show sustainable, right, that we could like make some money on it, right? I was actually thinking about us doing a course and then we're making money that we could then put into the show to make it even better.
I think this is an interesting play, though, to say. Obviously, now that's the way to make maybe the most money. But I'm really curious. This is why I like being inside this, but also outside it, Matt, and seeing what you're doing with like the social media side of things. Because as like, and you were saying, I don't know if we were recording or not, but you're driving traffic to the YouTube channel and going to grow. That's one of the things you're focused on right now, not an email list or anything like that. With that in mind, I think it's interesting. Like, what is the play if you were just doing that? If you're just doing this what I would call like a platform play, like you're on other people's platforms, no email list. Like, what is that play to build up something? Almost that. I find it fascinating because I do wonder, how quickly can you monetize? What is that worth? Can you build a sustainable audience on it? Like all these things that kind of come to my mind because it's very much the antithesis of what I do. Like, so I am very fascinated by this.
So what happened was over the last month, since we started the show, my traffic on webfriendly.com had tanked. Right? We used to get a few thousand visitors. It was like, before I started the show, I think it was at like 200 visitors a month, where we used to get many thousands, right? Then I moved from WordPress to ghost.org, you know, redid the site, all that stuff. And then we started creating articles for everything that we're talking about on the show. I had a writer doing this, right? So then the traffic went up and it was back up to like 2,700, whatever. Over the last month, we're now at over 5,000, right? So our rankings on Google and our SEO, whatever I'm doing, I have some ideas around what we're doing with SEO, is like it really is increasing and we're getting a good amount of eyeballs and traffic, right? But since episode 9 or 10, I haven't had anyone creating articles for these videos. I actually just had a writer do it and it was not very good writing, so I don't want to put it up yet, right? But this is kind of twofold play. We're doing the YouTube channel, but I'm actually getting more traction from search results, right? But I've yet to, I was just thinking about this the other day, I forgot to do it, is like put a pop-up on the website. And like when someone subscribes right now, I didn't even connect the subscription form on the website is like going into Ghost. I don't even think it goes into my active campaign. I don't even know. I don't even know how many people subscribed, right? I haven't even done that. I have no ads. I'm not qualified for any, Google AdSense or anything like that. But I was thinking I want to put my own banner ads with affiliate links. I actually want to do that over Google AdSense. Like I want to put a banner ad to Inbox Done and with an affiliate link. I want to put a banner ad to InfoStack with an affiliate link, right? That sort of thing. And other client work I do, if it matches, I could just manage the banner ads on certain categories and then make affiliate money because we have affiliate links in the articles, right? The only problem is that I think 80% of our traffic is on mobile. 80% of mobile traffic is on Safari. And on Safari, it no longer tracks cookies. Therefore, there's no affiliate tracking, right? So that's the only thing with the whole affiliate link thing that doesn't really work well. But if I can get people to actually just pay me to put a banner ad, no affiliate link, that'd be great, right? And there's other ways to try to like monetize that site. But I also have had 2 people inquire about, but not follow up about buying the website. So it's possible I would sell it, but for the right price.
What's your price, Matt?
I'd take 100K.
Okay, everyone out there, now you know, web friendly for sale, 100K.
Yeah, I think it's negotiable. It's like depending on, first of all, it's gotta be the right person, what they're gonna do with it. Like it matters to me, right? Because I've been associated with that brand name for a long time. If they're gonna turn it into some like crypto fucking scamming thing,
I'll give you $1.50 and turn it into a crypto scam.
No.
Plaster your face everywhere.
No, thanks. Yeah, it's got, for the right person, I'd also be open to like a partnership or, stuff like that, right? But the thing is that right now, because I feel like I have my hand in too many baskets right now, so I'm like, I got to figure it out. But I do want to make this show make money so we all could make some money and also put more production value into it. I was watching some of our old episodes and the editing is so bad that I was like, like now we're getting like 10,000 views on a video and I was watching it and I was like, it's embarrassing how bad this editing is right now. It's like, so, and there's so much more I want to do that we just don't have the time for, right? All right, guys, so let's wrap it up. Anyone watching, make sure subscribe or something, maybe join the email list, who knows, go to webfriendly.com. we'll see what happens. I wonder how many people actually make it to the end. Actually, if you're listening to this right now and you made it to the end of the episode, I'd be very curious to know. You could comment or just like email me, matt@webfriendly.com, and just tell me that you heard the ending of the show. I'm very curious to know how many people actually watch or listen to the entire show. I know
Tweet you. Tweet you is the best way.
Yeah. Oh yeah, tweet. That's even better. Okay, tweet @webfriendly or like DM us on Instagram or something.
Or comment on YouTube, yo.
We should do like a prize.
Click and subscribe.
Yeah, smash that bell.
Do something to let us know you actually heard
Too many calls
this
to
part.
action, guys. We're diluting our message here.
No, I'm very curious because I know my girlfriend says that she watches the whole thing. I think my mom might watch it, but I'm very curious because on the last episode, my girlfriend was like, "Oh, you said this thing. You shouldn't have said it, whatever." And she was explaining to me why it wasn't good what I said. And I was like, "Doesn't matter. No one really watches the show." And she started laughing. So it's like, doesn't matter what I say. Everybody. So anyways, all right. Take care.